Here we go then, Joe. So, as we said, three things to sort of narrow down, sort of the main things to focus on, okay? Number one, left-hand grip. Now, this is a better left-hand grip where we can see the logo now on your left hand is certainly more clearly visible with that logo there. If previously your left hand was kind of face palm up, almost like you would lock your hand in position. This forearm and wrist and hand job were just so locked and tight. Trying to get any speed there was just gone. And even the control in the club was going to be limited, okay? So getting that left-hand grip in a better position, palm facing down, is going to certainly help. And now we're getting a little bit more kind of tilt there with the shoulders because that right side is dropping down a little bit, which is great, okay? Yeah, of course.
The hips there
yeah.
look, to me, a bit odd compared to hips there. Is that just...
I think that's probably because you haven't sort of set yourself up there. Scroll it through. These are your practice swings there, okay? No, probably your legs are a little bit close together, maybe. But in terms of when you get to that position, they're absolutely fine there, okay? But the movement you had, this is the one on the left-hand side is kind of your before, okay? You can see the sway there, you're moving off the ball, head sort of almost on a sort of 45-degree angle there, and here comes the bounce of that club there on the shoulder, okay? So that's when we lose a bit of control of that golf club. What we want to try to achieve is obviously more of a swing that's going to result something like that. And again, it just shows without momentum, which when you swing a golf club hitting a golf ball, you've got more speed. When you're swinging with practice, you're going to have less momentum. But you're able to get your shoulders to turn a good 90 degrees. But what you've got to make sure you're doing is, if we go back to the start, if I put this line up here now, it will represent the wall. If you're at home doing some practice, we've got to rotate so we don't hit that wall. Your forehead could be just touching there a little bit. Again, there's not much space for your arms to be in that position, okay? So ideally speaking, we would be a little bit more kind of on this line as opposed to over there, but that's going to be through practice. It's not just going to go ding. You can see even just trying to how your left hand comes to grab the club, instinctively it kind of went this way. So changing habits will take a bit of time, but at least again, with some of those things, if we said, okay, at home you could spend 5 minutes a day just up against the wall and just getting used to that rotation, it'll just start becoming more and more natural, okay? Because you keep that width there now as you come back to the golf ball. Then as we hit the golf ball now with a practice swing, you can see now, although we're not as high as we were, that club's not bouncing off our shoulder. We're in a position now where we have gained more control of that golf club. So at least when we come back to the golf ball here now, we can come through and get through to your left side. And in this position, now there is an element that we are moving towards that left side. That right knee is coming in. So with a bit of progression with that, eventually, and again, don't put a time, it could be a couple of weeks, it could be a couple of months, who knows. This foot now is going to start moving in because everything's moving more around to target and basically moving to your left. Problem is there, Joe, if you're this far over here on the way back, you try and get over there in a third of a second without falling over. And if your head's moving from there to there, it's just too much.
I'm doing myself a mischief.
Well, you do yourself an injury if you're not careful. Okay, so it's about moving the body better. Effectively moving it more on the way back, but sort of staying within the confines of where you're starting, okay? Not swaying and then moving certainly a lot more on the way through where you rotate through. Remember years ago someone told me, imagine swinging a golf club in a phone booth. You wouldn't allow much sway there, you're in, and they're just rotating back and forth. It just keeps a central pivot point and you can rotate from there around your body rather than this big rocking back and forth, because when you're good, you hit the ball very nicely, I'm sure. But when it's wrong, it's too inconsistent. And the strikes you're going to have on a regular basis are going to be a bit hit and miss. So, does that kind of make sense, yes?
Yeah, that's...
Some things to work on, as I said.
Yeah.
Left-hand grip position and grip pressure. And obviously the main focus of that turn is the sway. Again, I would do as much as you possibly can. You could never really overdo that, to be fair. I wouldn't do it for a long period, but do it as many times a day, 2 or 3 minutes a day, up against a wall there, twist, and just get used to that range of motion through the body. And once you get that fixed, better, then it will become something you just naturally do. But it will take time to change that into a natural habit, won't it? So, okay, good stuff. Very good, Jack.